What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ring the Bell. This is the Wednesday, not really Wednesday anymore, the Brand Supremacy Women's War.
I don't like that word.
My name is Joey. I'm your dad bod demigod.
And I am the interdimensional Moxie Molly, and we've got so much, well, not so much to discuss.
We have some, just epic moments. I don't know if I want to say matches.
Correct.
This week, we got to see the culmination of the Kaylee Ray Toni Storm feud happen for the NXT UK Women's Championship. It was an I Quit match. And let me tell you, it was intense. It got pretty dramatic. But I will say the match was just put together so well.
Agreed.
Like, it told a story. It really gave an overview of what's going on between Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm. It was a really good culmination match.
It was like a very traditional UK match, like a lot of joint manipulation, as well as a lot of like hard-hitting, like, oh my gosh, and I hate even saying this sentence, but like, oh my gosh, women did that, like sort of moment.
There's some great spots in this match. That frog splash from Toni through the table with Kaylee Ray. Gotta talk about that finale because Kaylee Ray taped the hands together and then just stuck Toni Storm between that chair and was just, it made me hurt.
I don't know how Toni's not going to take some time off after that. She might have to.
She has to. I think
that could have been the point of the match, just to give her some time off. I don't know.
Or maybe transition her to NXT.
True. Which
maybe.
We'll talk about that later, but I feel like they might need.
Yeah, they definitely needed a nice little kick in the butt. Solid match. The emotion from Toni really sold. Piper Niven gave us a little bit more emotion. And then Kaylee Ray is just vicious.
In the most magical way.
Yeah, like in her overall, like not just what she does in the ring, but how she does it. Like her delivery, she looks menacing and she looks in that consistent mode of I've got ill intent.
Yeah, sometimes people's faces are just built that way, and hers definitely is. Like, it's just made to look like I'm an ass kicker, and you're not gonna tell me different.
She's got resting, I'm a you up face.
It's true. That's our new t-shirt.
But I'm excited to see what the next step is. I imagine it's going to be Piper Niven again, but I'm hoping to see a fresh face.
I actually was hoping Piper Niven would interject a little bit more at the end, not just kind of copy Rhea Ripley staring at what's happening.
I don't think she does that. Piper Niven to me is like this badass mother. Like, she's very caring, it seems like, is her thing.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. So I wish she came out like, you're not going to touch my friend like that. But
not my baby.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But instead, she just stood till it was over and then came out to her friend's side. Kind of like Rhea Ripley, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Honestly, this was match of the week across all shows that we're going to talk about for me. Do you want to skip across the pond again? Back across. Because we got to talk about all the things that happened on NXT this week. It was the 10th anniversary of NXT. They didn't really play that up, to be honest. Like, commentary did, but...
Yeah, like, with wrestling, and I get it, NXT is more wrestling and less, like, backstage and promo stuff, like, is what people kind of say with the brands, but you, like, expect some, like, special cake, someone getting... like pie-faced with a cake, or some sort of celebration, some balloons falling.
Triple H giving everyone roses.
A special ring apron or something on the...
Yeah, a special ring apron.
Yeah, something.
That would have worked. We did get 2 women's matches, which has been consistent typically for NXT, which is great. And we'll start with the first match, which was Mia Yim going one-on-one with Xia Li. I kind of agree with that. I don't really feel like...
Oh, that was just me yawning. I'm tired.
I know. I don't think that was you throwing shade, but I mean, they're both very exciting performers, but...
The most exciting thing about this match, Xia Li's new gear.
Xia Li's gear.
I want to wear her gear. It was amazing.
I wonder how quickly it's going to wear and tear, though, because taking bumps with, like, those shoulder pads can't last too long. But overall, she looked great. Both of them are phenomenal performers. They didn't have a lot of time, and they didn't really feel like they overall clicked. But I really did love the opening segment where Xia was just throwing those kicks, and Mia was like, okay.
Right, like, I feel you. Like,
it felt like a lot of near misses, and some of them didn't quite land where I needed them to. But it was a good overall way to showcase both women.
Nothing was botched. It was what I always kind of say this thing, like, where it was typical of 2 really good wrestlers who haven't had a lot of time together.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't
It was mid-card, but I think it was supposed to be mid-card.
Because it ultimately set up for the ending where Dakota Kai came out with Raquel Gonzalez.
Which someone said this in the comments of our last review, and I totally agree with this. The whole look and vibe Dakota Kai has going on is like, I think what everyone wanted from Bayley.
Dakota and Io have had the best heel turns.
Agreed.
Maybe the exception with Kairi Sane. It was set up for Dakota and Raquel to come out and kind of have their moment where Dakota was pressed about Mia Yim in the past with her. I didn't really understand that.
What I was hearing and read is they face each other in the Mae Young Classic.
Mia was supposed to be in War Games.
No. I'm talking about how Raquel attacked Mia at the end.
Oh, I thought it was just because she was Dakota Kai's chick now.
They said something about the Mae Young Classic. I don't remember. But you are right. And the whole thing about, War Games where she's like, remember when you took my spot? And Mia was like, it wasn't even your spot. Bitch, you didn't even get chosen.
Raquel looked very strong, taking down Mia Yim and Xia Li. It was nice to see Xia get a win.
True.
Even if it was kind of by default.
And just Xia being that wholesome face, rescuing Mia Yim. Remember how last time we were saying, I said it just felt like Raquel was randomly there and, we don't understand why she was there?
Mm.
When I saw her compared to everyone else in the ring, including Mia Yim, who in my brain is always pretty big and muscular, she towers over them, and I think, this is just my interpretation, it's this brand's competition with AEW's Mel. They were like, you have this big, tall... They kept talking about how she's a big, tall, 6-foot Texan. Everything's bigger in Texas.
I mean, that's kind of who she is, though.
Right, but I'm saying, if maybe that's why they had such a rush to just insert her into something. It's like, oh, they have a big person, we need a big person, too.
But overall, solid match between the two. It's a great segue to next week's match, which is Tegan versus Dakota in the steel cage. Very excited to see that.
Still not sure why they would interfere in this match to set up for the match with Tegan.
It's just a promo.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was. But we have to move on and talk about this main event, because let's talk about the women main evented both NXT UK and NXT this week.
True.
So, clap. We got to see a main event, and honestly, the match was set up main event level because it was the EST, Miss Bianca Belair, going against You Don't Even Go Here, Miss Charlotte Flair.
Which I loved that the crowd was chanting,
You don't go here. I love that chant versus the welcome home chant.
I agree.
That was really...
It's almost like, we don't want you here. You know what I mean? They're like, Charlotte, in all due respect, she is the queen, she's got accolades, but it was kind of just like, we don't need you here. NXT's fine by themselves.
We really
They don't need the queen. I agree, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, solid match between the two. The crowd was really invested in it. There were a few spots that seemed a bit wonky.
Again, like the other one, two really great wrestlers who haven't worked, because I can't see them both in the Performance Center working together.
Especially
for a couple
not Charlotte.
weeks. Right, that's who I'm thinking the most. Is
she's got shit to do.
Right,
She's
exactly.
The queen.
Exactly.
There was a couple really fun spots. I loved the abdominal stretch spot where she
reversed it.
And she just you saw the overpowering, and it was so good.
It wasn't even like I'm smart and I'm gonna reverse it. She had it halfway there and was like, bah, 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 laying him into her ribs. Like, bitch, I got power too.
You know what I wanted? Because I don't think they would do it to Charlotte yet. But when she was grabbing her by the ponytail, I wanted her to whip her to get that nice little stretch into it. I was waiting for it. I was like, ugh, nope. Okay, but cool. Good spot. We got to the end, which seemed a bit rushed.
A piece of me was just waiting for news to come out that somewhere in the match Bianca took a bad bump and had a concussion, and she was like, I need you to end it now or something. It just seemed out of nowhere. They did it to her last time with Bianca, how it was one big move and then she got pinned.
Yeah, after she had so much offense. It didn't seem like she was ready to take the fall.
And none of these endings have been out of nowhere.
Also, I don't think it cemented that ending because it felt really rushed.
Right.
And it just didn't impact like it can
No,
sometimes.
and honestly, a reverse snapmare, if that's what we're going to call it, the Mr. Perfect, isn't a finishing move anyway. So I'm really confused why they use it as a finisher.
I mean, it's kind of been her go-to finisher outside the figure eight for a while.
It's not a finisher.
It is for Charlotte. It's kind of the same way that Alexa Bliss's finish is a DDT. So,
but I mean, that is an actual, if your head got slammed into the ground,
Well, I mean, she's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, but no one's head, unless you're Charlotte Flair, who's flexible as F, actually comes through their legs and hits on the bottom. I'm just saying. In the believability aspect of wrestling, that is not a finisher, so I hate it as a finisher.
I mean, this is also, seen so many women use the X Factor.
Yeah, I know.
Which is also...
That's one of my, like, transition moves. Like, because you're stunning them to put them into a finisher.
Okay. I mean, you want to say it's not a finisher, but the last two female inducted Hall of Fame both used it as it was a Tory to the Bellas. It's Hall of Fame worthy. Overall, the match itself, it's like a solid B match, I think. Not a complete A, but it's...
Listen, though. I was angry because two good wrestlers, it's just like a picture of those two wrestlers who haven't worked a lot together. But like Bianca Belair deserves, especially if they were going to make her lose, she deserves an A+ match.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was meant to be an A+ match. It just wasn't. Now we have to move on to something that I don't want to do, but I have to do. Rhea. What you doing, girl?
Listen, y'all know we are huge fans of her, and just for you guys, and because of our disappointment, we're not doing our This Is My Brutality thing.
No, because what she did this week was brutal.
And it was weird, just like what we just said in NXT UK. Like, Piper Niven came out and just stepped and stared. Like, Rhea didn't even have concern. No. She just, was to the crowd looking around, and then, you have to wait for your stomp to come out. Like, run out. You're a face, so show some charisma.
And your opponent is attacking someone.
Right. You should be wanting to get in there to cause more damage and hurt for your match coming up.
I don't know. But, I mean, I've addressed this before. I love Rhea, but why are you doing your entire entrance every time? Because this isn't the first time she's come out to save someone.
She should almost be halfway down the ramp before her music even hits.
But no, she had to wait for the entire foot stomp motion.
Right.
And meanwhile, you've got Charlotte Flair. I feel like they were just in the ring and someone in the back said, hey, we got 2 minutes left. Put in everything you can. Because she put Bianca's foot in the chair, broke her ankle, put her in the figure 8 for a solid 7 seconds. Then all of a sudden, here comes Rhea for...
God knows why.
Yeah.
Because she didn't attack her very much or interject at all.
Yeah.
No promo. Just
This match had all the makings to be a 5-star match, but right now this build-up has lost me. Especially with Bianca being the person that I'm paying the most attention to now.
She's overshadowing both of them. She outshines both of them. And that's no shade to Charlotte and her accolades or even Rhea, but when someone has the it factor, they've got it. And both of those girls respectively have it, but Bianca's it is it. It's the est of it. It is the it-ist. She's overshining them.
And she could have been doing this the entire time. They've kind of really been sleeping on Bianca.
I feel like they've known how much of a star she is, but for whatever reason, they have her under a bushel, and now you just can't hide it anymore. So many people on Twitter said this, and on just across social media, they did her dirty. Bianca deserves so much more. Bianca is overshadowing both of them. We said this about the Rumble. Charlotte didn't need to win the Rumble. She didn't need to win this. We understand why, because they're setting up for WrestleMania. But I thought they were building this where Charlotte was just about to get over on Bianca, but because Rhea is in her own right half heelish, she's tweener, Rhea comes out, starts to mess with Charlotte, and either helps Bianca get the win, or then the ref just calls it, and it's a double count out, and no one wins, setting up for a really awesome triple threat for WrestleMania that we all wanted.
But we're not gonna we're gonna have to bite that bullet, I think. And then I think they're going to try to capitalize on Bianca's popularity next, but then they're going to do this whole, I call it the Roman Reigns effect, where they're right there, the crowd's behind them, they're ready to see them do it, and then they push it back another year. And then you're
then they've lost their steam, and now you made the fans hate them.
But let's go ahead and talk about AEW, because this week on AEW's Dynamite, we got to see a fatal 4-way. A lot of fresh faces in this match to see in the ring. It was Hikaru Shida going against Shanna, against Yuka Sakazaki and Big Swole. I love Yuka.
Yuka Sakazaki.
She's one of my favorites.
Oh, me too. Her charisma. That's what I wanted to see from Rio.
Mm-hmm. But this match was a lot. It was very quick pace. It didn't really have much story backing to it at all, especially considering what they've been building. Because you've got this Saturday, which is AEW Revolution, which we will be. I will be there. It's going to be Nyla going against Statlander. But you didn't really get any build to that. It was just a random fatal 4-way. Karu came out on top.
Which, to me, the way I interpreted this is they were just trying to up those stats that they have. Those 4 aren't even in the stats. I could see Big Swole and Hikaru Shida because they're both like right there teeter-tottering. But the other 2 are lower down in the stats.
They're lower, but also you had Statlander and Swole come out to confront Nyla.
Right.
So it's weird to me that Swole didn't pick up the win. Yeah.
Right.
Well, not even go over. She took the fall.
Right.
So that's very strange to me.
Right.
I thought the match itself was just decent. It was a lot of near falls. Like, a lot of near falls.
It is indicative of what the kind of matches that started to give the Young Bucks and Omega and all of them the fire to people to actually want AEW Dynamite. Like, when you look at their indie stuff, like, that's what they did. Near fall every other second. To me personally, when you put aside that I'm a wrestler and like put aside wrestler and put me in wrestling fan mark, I don't like matches like that. Like, I don't like to see every single thing a person has, every finisher in a match, and someone can kick out of it. It diminishes the strength of the finisher.
I agree with that. Just considering how many times a finisher got hit in that match.
But I will say, no suicide dives and no Canadian destroyers, which we see in every other match on AEW.
Was there not a dive in that match?
There was no dive.
Well,
right, surprising for an AEW match.
Smack me sideways and call me Nancy. I didn't think that was
Nancy!
Solid match. I'm a bit confused because it just doesn't add up to where I thought they were going. But that's also typical of AEW.
With the ending of what we saw on NXT US, I would say for the first time in history of this, I think I'm more happy with what happened on AEW than on NXT. Not maybe the actual work in the match, although the work in both was amazing, but just like the ending, I was like, although I wanted to see Big Swole go over, I was like, Hikaru Shida has been a driving force, pretty consistent.
I thought it was going to be Swole. I did.
They very heavily practice this, very spotty, but you kind of need to do that in a match where people haven't had a lot of time together.
Quick shout out to AEW Dark this week because we did get a fun little spot between Brandy Rhodes and my homegirl Leva Bates. It was a solid little spear
If
spot.
you liked what Brandy was doing, I suggest you find Vipress on Instagram and go see Vipress do that spot before Brandy did it.
And the cat didn't even like that.
I know.
You hear that? What's the thing that we need to do? That's right. Hey, Moxie.
Hey, Jelly.
What was your boom blast moment of the week?
You go first.
Okay. My boom blast moment is going to the chair spot with Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm, where she first got her in the neck and then hooked her. The entire finish to the NXT UK Women's Championship match. I liked it. That was
I would say that's actually pretty good, and it was one of where my brain was going, but because you took that one, I'll take what we already mentioned. Bianca, very, with a lot of pizzazz, reversing that abdominal stretch on Charlotte Flair. I can't get over the fact that Bianca didn't get enough in on that match, though.
It's a testament to how good she is that an abdominal stretch is your
true.
moment of the week.
Yeah.
That was the boom blast. So, hey, Moxie.
Hey, Jared.
Where can people find you? You can find me at Joey_Mayberry on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
You can find me on all social media platforms at that's THEE, Moxie Molly. And you can find, well, this isn't there yet, but if you guys comment enough that you give the bitch a bell as a t-shirt, I will have it available on my new eBay store, which I might be transferring to a different platform, but that's neither here nor there.
So, yeah, if you want a shirt, let us know. We'll start to get some out to you guys. But until next week, we'll see you later.
Don't forget to ring the bell.
Oh, subscribe.
And support our Patreon. Is that what it's called?
Patreon.
Yeah, whatever. Support it.
Yes, please do. And we will see you next week for another edition of the
Brand Wars.
The Brand Wars.
You haven't seen it like this since McDonald's and Burger King were on opposite corners.
Now it's Walgreens and CVS's.
Yeah, Starbucks and Dunkin'. Okay, we're just rambling.
Wait, just okay, that's fine.